Kipp basketball 2024-2025 season. Um, it was a ride. It was a ride. It was a roller coaster of a ride, to say the least. This year, I made a post a couple weeks back and just talked about the challenges that we went through, endured in the 2024-2025 season. Um, and quite honestly, it was nothing like I expected. Like nothing. It's actually in my 14 years of coaching, I've never had a more challenging season than I just had. And with the things that I do as far as documentation purposes, I think it's really important to one document this journey, right? Like I don't think enough people uh, appreciate the rough times and the non-sexy times when you're trying to build something literally from scratch. Everybody want to, again, we live in a microwave society, right? Everybody want to jump to when everything is great, right? And that's just not realistic. That's not how it works. You go through rough patches, right? Times where you really struggling, and I think it's important to show that as well as the good times, so that's one reason I'm here in front of you today to talk about the season. The second reason is just the reflection of it, right? I think it's important to reflect and put that out to the world so they can see, because it can help somebody else, right? It can help an inspiring coach. It can help a parent. It can help a player kind of navigate through this system, because I don't think all parties are really navigating it properly. Just from what I've seen, I think a lot of people are existing, and they're just getting smashed by whatever the reality is in the moment. So any way that I can kind of balance that out with my journey, and this journey here at Kipp for our coaching staff and our organization, I'm very happy to do so. So today, what you're getting is you're gonna get part one of the 2024-25 Kipp basketball season from my lens, and yeah. So I'll start from last season when we lost to Pittman in the sectional championship, right? Again, for those that's been following us, it's documented that this is our third year that we just ended, but last year was our second season, and we went all the way to the sectional championship. We was 22-9. Nobody expected us to be there that quickly, and we lost in the sectional final to Pittman. Me, right after that loss, this is my expectations, right, and my interpretation of it. I was upset about the loss, but I was very confident and excited about the future, right? Because we had no seniors essentially. A lot of our seniors was role players, but the main nucleus of our team was coming back, right? And I looked at it like, this would make them a lot more hungrier as far as capturing that sectional and trying to capture a state championship going into 2024-2025 season. So I was excited. I was very excited going into the off season. Fast forward a little bit, I'm going to backtrack again as well, but fast forward a little bit into what we had coming into this year. I saw well, first of all, again, we had four starters return, and that, along with adding a couple new pieces, I really liked our roster, mainly because of the balance purposes, right? I believe you need to be as balanced as possible, when competing in sports in general, but preferably basketball, right? Because it's a lot harder to scout an opponent like that. The past couple of years, we had a lot of guys that average double figures or close to double figures. So when you're trying to scout opponents like that, it's really challenging to do. You don't know what to do when you can go inside out and vice versa. So I saw the balance in our roster coming into this year, and then I saw the potential depth. And if anybody knows about Group 1 basketball in South Jersey, it's extremely difficult to be deep, right? Because it's the population size, right? A lot of Group 1 programs, all Group 1 programs are really small in population. I think the limit might be 500 or 600. I'm not sure, but a lot of teams are 400 kids in the school, right? So when you translate that to sports, you don't really have a deep team, right? That's how traditionally you are. In the beginning, I looked at it like we had 8, maybe 9 people that we can play, right? So I was really confident and happy about that, the potential of it. And overall, just the confidence that I had in the team. Again, I've been around the seniors for 4 years now, going into the off season, and I expected them to come back really hungry, after the demoralizing losses that they had. The first year we lost the first seeded Woods. First seeded Wildwood in the first round. Right when we were up in the fourth quarter, then we came back and we got our return against them. And this year losing to Pittman, where you know without Jeremiah or our leading scorer playing, I would think that because of that experience that they would come in a lot more hungry, right? So all these things is going around in my head. So because of that, I made our schedule a lot more difficult, a lot more challenging. And a couple people was saying, yo, you think you should do that? Because I knew from last year, we won 22 games, but it wasn't a strong schedule. Like, no disrespect to the teams that we were playing and competing against, but I knew that we had to get our kids confident, right? A second year program, you don't want to just throw them into the fire, but you also because they won't have confidence, So I wanted to give them opportunities to, I could really do this, right? And that was why our schedule was the way that it was last year. Now they went through an entire year, and it's like, okay, you did that, right? Let's beef it up. So when we play in the Hatfields, the St. Augustines, the Atlantic Cities, the Cherokees, Holy Cross, Burlington Township is in our conference division that we got to play twice. It's like you want these opportunities because at the end of the day, you're going back to Group 1 basketball. And again, there's no knock in Group 1 basketball, but it is what it is, right? The strength of schedule it's not even a comparison when you're playing those Group 3, Group 4, those parochial kind of powerhouse Catholic schools. You know what I mean? So that was my ideology into playing a really strong schedule. And at the end of the day, we got 4 seniors returning, right? So if you got 4 seniors, 4 that this is their third year starting varsity, you would think as a head coach that, again, they would come in more experience in their physical sense, their mental sense, their leadership sense, so therefore you need to go for it. You need to go for it. So that was my thought process going into the season. Again, very excited. Y'all saw the media day video that we did. Check that out if you get an opportunity. Everybody's excited. Everybody was ready to go. So I thought, right? And I'll get into that too. But so for this video, I just wanted to go through the first 5 games, right? Pemberton, Pensacola, Atlantic City, St. Augustine, and St. Vincent, right? So again, we opened with Pemberton, and I all that was still there of what I just said, right? And it really showed, right? We didn't have many games where we showed that we can really be a dominant force. Pemberton was one of those games, and I think for obvious reasons, right? You start off at home. Again, you coming off a sectional finals appearance. You got a lot coming back. I think everybody was just excited, and it trickled down into the actual game, right? So we looked apart in Pemberton, right? Pensacola was pretty much the same. The first Pensacola game at home. Away. It was pretty much the same, right? We played with a lot of energy, a lot of physicality. We looked like we were experienced. We looked like we were talented. We looked balanced. It was a really good moment, right? It was a really good moment, those first 2 games. Then we go to Atlantic City, where, again, no disrespect to Pemberton and Pensacola, and this was our first challenge, right? We were expected to do what we did against Pemberton and Pensacola. They might not agree, but it is what it is. Now we go to Atlantic City. This is a predominantly high-level Group 4 South Jersey basketball team that's always competing for championships, right? Always athletic, always really tough. Atlantic City guard play. They top 5 in South Jersey to start the year. Like, a lot of things are going in their favor, as it should, right? With the history of their lineage. So this is our real first test. Like, okay, is Kipp really serious, or is it kind of like, one of them, them things, right? You caught a lick, you out here, you winning a couple games, but you're not really ready for the big dogs or whatever like that. So And then we go in Atlantic City in the Wildwood tournament and we win. We win, right? So it those first three games, it wasn't surprising to me at all. And I'll say that because the entire offseason, people was coming up to me asking me how we're going to be this year. And I said, we're going to win the state championship. I mean, it's documented. I've said it online on videos before that we're going to win the state championship. And some people will look at me kind of sideways like, yo, how can you be that confident? Well, because one, I know the work that I put in. I know the work that I put in order to get here. So I am very confident in myself because of the work that I put in. But two, I expected, because the kids got a chance to taste it, that they would meet halfway in that same type of mind frame. You know what I mean? So I internalized it like, all right, yeah, we're all in this all together and we going for it. We going for it. So when we started out 3-0, ending it with beating Atlantic City, I was happy. You know, the program is trending in the right way, but I wasn't fazed by it really at all because this is what's supposed to happen. You know, this is what's supposed to happen. You know, so we start 3-0. We play St. Augustine the next day, and it was just the weirdest. It was the weirdest game ever. Like, we was up 12-2, I believe, to start the game, and we ended up losing by 20. It was a really weird game. Like, I can't even really explain it, like how it went. But I mean, St. Augustine is St. Augustine. Paul Rodeo is Paul Rodeo. They run a great program. I guess I could take that on the chin and say that we weren't just ready for that type of game and that type of coaching, I guess, but I don't know. It was just a weird game, right? But the importance of that game is what happened next, right? So we leave Wildwood, we beat Atlantic City, we lose to St. Augustine, our first practice back. Not half the team, but a lot of the team is missing, right? Not missing, but they just didn't come to practice, right? And it's funny that holiday season all the time, to me it really tells where you are as a program as far as how invested the parents are and the kids, because you got some parents that want to go away for the holidays or something like that, or whatever, right? He won't be there because we're going to South Carolina or something like that, right? And it leads me to believe, like, okay, that's fine, but how invested are you into what we're doing? Because you can do those things all year round. I know it's not Christmas, it's not the same as Christmas and New Year's, but you have opportunities to do that all year round. And you're choosing to do that while we're here, right? For whatever reason, right? But then it wasn't even just that, it was kids that just missed practice, right? So me seeing that after coming off of a loss, that really infuriates me, because I know what type of kids that we have. Like, our kids like the shiny things when they want instant gratification, right? Where however I can get instant gratification, I'm excited, right? And they want things to be new all the time, you know? So the beginning of the season, we play in Pemberton, everybody's giddy, right? First day of tryouts, everybody's giddy. We play in our first game, everybody is ready to go, right? But when adversity hits, this is how I'm internalizing in my brain. Now we missing half the team in practice. Like, what's that about, right? So I called a practice. We ain't practicing today. Y'all wasting my time. This is what I say. Everybody go home, right? I go home, and next thing I know, I get a call that one of our starters tears his Achilles the same day. Like, what was he doing? He was just playing around. You know, he just went to go just play basketball when, you know, y'all didn't have practice. Towards Achilles, just playing around, right? And this is one of the players, and this is a very pivotal moment in our season. This is one of the players, you know, those glue guys that they'll never go nuts or bananas in the stat sheet, but they mean so much, and it'll never quantify as far as numbers, but their presence, it makes so much of a difference of the team, the physicality that they bring, the savviness that they bring, the maturity that they bring. That was this guy. that was this guy, and it was a real gut punch to the program. And this is the nicest kid in the world that, like, why? Why would this happen to this kid? But it happened, right? So we start the new year and we start with Cinnamon. Cinnamon for the past 4 years, they've been a solid program, right? They kind of did it the way that you're supposed to do it. You know, they started all sophomores, took their lumps, and now they all seniors, you know, and they projected to win. You know, solid program all around. So I'm going into Cinnamon, like, after the injury, I'm like, okay, this is a great test for us. It's an amazing test for us to see where our heads are after, you know, that happening to one of our players. So I'm just going into it like, okay, how are we going to respond to this? How are we going to respond to this adversity, right? Are we going to kind of like dwindle in and just feel sorry for ourselves and just be like, oh, we lost one of our players, that's it, you know? Or are we going to respond because in a positive way, because we have seniors, right? We have people that's been here before, you know, and I think we're a tight-knit group, right, that can rally around each other, you know, when one of your brothers go down, right? The game went into double or triple overtime, I believe, and we lost by 2. And if you look at the stat sheet, you'd be like, wow, that was an amazing game. You know, it wasn't like that at all, right? It wasn't like the score. I mean, Cinnamon gave us, you know, some of them games where, you know, the opposing team just give you chance after chance to take the game from them, right? That's how it was. We had about 7, 8 chances that we could have taken the game over, you know, and finished the game out, and we never did it. We never did it. And by the end of that game, when I was riding home, I was like, this could be trouble. This could be a really challenging season for a lot of reasons, because during the game, you know, again, going into the game, you would think that they have a mindset, let's do this for, you know, the fallen soldier, right? But I'm looking at the game and I'm coaching the game and I'm seeing like confidence fading away. I'm seeing immaturity showing from upperclassmen, right? And the most kind of like demoralizing trait that I saw was we were just revisiting like past just bad habits that I thought that we got past, right? And I'm looking at it like, this is scary. This is scary. I mean, and I'm trying to stay in a place of, I'm still very confident in this team, you know, and whatever adjustments that me and the coaching staff needs to make, we're going to make them. But this just happened. After this just happened, where do we go from here? You know, so next week, in our next video, the part 2 of the season, we'll get into the bulk of the year, right? The bulk of the year where it was really a roller coaster ride for us as a program, emotions and everything in between. It was really a roller coaster ride where, you know, we had opportunities to grow and we had opportunities to do the opposite, you know. And yeah, we'll go through that next week. So till next time.